Good morning. It is Kimberly here. I am finally off. It has been 3 long shifts in a row. I have been a nurse for 25 years. I am still at the bedside working in the ER, and I am just on here trying to give my perspective and want to share with you, my nursing experience and just have some conversations. So let's get into it. I got to get my makeup on. I'm actually doing a little self-care today. I am going to be going to get a manicure and a pedicure. And I'm looking forward to just doing something for me. Although, I can tell you, today was hard to get out of my way. I don't know if you've had days like that where you just have a hard time once you've done several in a row and you're drained and you have the ability where you can just sit and rest and you want to do nothing else. Well, that's been me today. I got some rest. I woke up and I'm tired, but that's the life, On my last video, we talked about, I was starting to get into conversations about other things you can do if you're not wanting to be at the bedside and it's not your forte. Or if you're burnout and you're just needing to change. The beauty of nursing is that we can change anytime. And I was talking about some of my wild experiences at camp, which I'm really grateful that I got to do. I have 2 kids, and I had a dog too, and packed up the kids and the dog and we went to camp. So I did it for several summers and it just worked out where I was able to do that. And I did it every other summer for 4 summers. So it allowed me to have some time with my kids, do my nursing and get paid, and had my kids in activities during the summer where I felt like I didn't, have to worry about all the pickup, drop-offs, meals, all the things during the summertime. And, when you're a parent, I don't know, for me, I just wanted to make sure my kids had activities that they were doing during the summer and weren't just sitting around like on their computers or on their gaming consoles. So camp it was. So we did camp. I also worked full-time in an emergency department after I, had done some travel contracts and ended up back in my hometown. So I did that. I went back to the ER. During that time I was in the ER, I actually took on some other side gigs. There were times where I needed extra funds. Crazy as it was, there was things I was doing back in the day to hustle and make money that I look back now and I'm like, I don't know how the hell I did it, but I did. And I don't necessarily regret it, but God, I was busy. I had a couple rental properties by that point, and I was managing my rentals in addition to what I was doing with ER. And then there was a point, I remember, at one point I was having issues where I was in between my tenants moving out and next tenant going in. And, I wasn't flush with cash. I had bills to pay and I had only a little in reserves at the time. It was risk, but I did it. And I needed to make some extra money to fill the gaps. And so I took on some extra work during my ER time and worked home health so I could, supplement income. And that allowed me some flexibility in addition to what I was doing, where I wasn't committing to 12-hour shifts, but I was doing some home health visits to add some extra income. So in addition to what I've already talked about in my last video about things you can do, there are things like home health. There are a lot of different opportunities away from the bedside that you can look into. There's school nursing, if you're into where you need that kind of 9-to-5 schedule. There is different kinds of schools too. A lot of private schools and public schools hire, nurses to work at the nursing office. Sometimes, usually not always full-time gigs, but if you get in with a school district, you can somehow wiggle it at times to work at a district level where you're overseeing healthcare for several schools. I have a friend who worked college school nursing, where she was the school nurse at a college campus, and that afforded her some good hours while she was raising her kids. So there's different levels of school nursing, and I think that the camp thing, the school nurse thing, and the college nurse thing, they all kind of fall in that same genre. So the other thing is once you get in with one group, and I called it a circuit, the camp circuit, in my last video, because the groupings of people that do camp, school nursing, yachties, all the different things, there's a whole grouping of people that kind of go different things from regular year to summers to winter breaks, spring breaks, those kind of things. And they go around in these groupings, and it's a really small world once you get into it, especially if you're in the travel part of that. So yeah, somebody asked me the other day what I was talking about when I said camp circuit, and I'm talking about the groupings of people that go one place to the other, like circuit training, and it follows each other. So it's a small world, and you make relationships, and it makes opportunities in other areas. So one thing can lead to another. And I have found that a lot of my jobs over the years have been like a one thing leading to another thing. Trying to get my water in. So I also talked about education. If you have your degrees, even if you don't, if you have your bachelor's degree, you can always, and here's the thing with education, if you're going to teach, you can teach one level down from the highest degree that you have. So if you are, I'm looking for my palette right now. I guess I lost one. We're going to go with some pink and green, I think, again. If you are a bachelor's accredited nurse, you've earned your bachelor's degree, you can go into teaching associate's level nursing. If you are an associate's degree level nursing, you can teach. It's going to be more like certificate level trainings, like doing some stuff, work with companies that teach EMTs and ACLS, BLS, that kind of thing. So that's also an option to work for education companies. There is also, once you've gone up and gotten your bachelor's and maybe gotten some years under your belt in a particular specialty, usually 5 to 10 years, I'd say 10. They usually want 10 if you're going to do legal consulting. Legal consulting has recently gotten really big online, and I just want to caution you. There are a lot of courses that help navigate people, but always be cautious about courses trying to sell you on how to do a job. There's ways to get into things. I got into doing some legal consulting, and for me it was word of mouth. I didn't take a particular course. I didn't go to this academy and pay thousands of dollars for someone to tell me how to do what I already knew I was doing. I had over 10 years, I think it was like 10 to 15 years under my belt in emergency medicine and critical care. And I was asked to look at some cases for a law firm, give my opinions on whether it should move forward or what to do in the defense of the case. So there was one that was a prosecution case where they wanted to know if they should prosecute, what was the deal. Some of these are board related. I have had the board reach out and ask me to consult on some cases that way, and I'm always cautious on doing those things. Most of my consulting has been with legal cases and working with law firms. So I have done that. That is an option. PACU is always something you can do, working in post-anesthesia recovery unit. When I went back for my bachelor's after about 8 years working back in the ER, I had been working on my bachelor's for about a year, and the program was intense. Bachelor's degree programs for me, it felt intense. I was working hard, and I was trying to do school, and I was trying to meet in the forums I had to meet because a lot of it was online. There was a lot of demands on me to be awake and around during the day, and I had to meet certain days of the week on certain things with different groups, or going to, visits I had to do at certain clinical sites, and it got kind of hard. So I ended up taking a job, and I left the ER, which was really hard to do. Oh my gosh, it was hard after I had done all my time in the ER for so long, and 8 years, to leave that nest of comfort. And I ended up getting a job, again, word of mouth, in a post-anesthesia recovery unit. And I worked there during day hours, and those day hours afforded me time to work on my degree. So that's another option. And like I said, again, word of mouth, getting to know other people, networking, that's how a lot of these jobs come to fruition. For me, it did anyway. And I just, in working with nurses and being in nursing as long as I have, you'll find that a lot of that is how your job opportunities will come. So I am going to do my eyeliner real quick. I'm kind of in a hurry to get out of here. I'm always in a hurry to get out of here. Do you ever notice that? I wait till the last minute on some of these videos, and I shouldn't, because I'm doing all this other stuff around the house, especially today. And I was trying to just get some stuff done before I left to run errands, and before I leave to go do some, me time, which is always good to do. Self-care, self-care, self-care. I can't tell you enough how important self-care is. So taking care of yourself, drink your water. For goodness sakes, drink your water. I have to tell myself that all the time. I definitely start with a bolus of water every day, and I've noticed, I say that every day, I don't. On my work days, I always have a glass of water right when I get up, and I try to do 2 before a shift, right? And I've noticed on my off days, sometimes I don't do the water, and I was feeling kind of crappy last go around, and I thought, you know what, you're not drinking your water. So I'm trying to get my water in, even on my off days when I want to do nothing but lay on the couch and order DoorDash. It happens. Anyhow. Yeah, it's nice to do things for ourselves though, and sometimes it's even a chore just to get our butts there to get it done. Me right now. So where was I? I was talking about different jobs, PACU, IV therapy. Again, I'm going to say be careful with any job that's trying to sell you something on how to do a job if you already know how to do it. And if somebody's trying to sell you a package for you to essentially run your own business, proceed with caution. Avoid MLMs if you can. Be careful of schemes. You're a nurse. You're held to a higher conduct standard as a nurse to make sure that you're not getting involved in schemes that are going to manipulate other people. So there you go on that one. Hold on. You can get involved in research. There are different research programs for the science and expansion of science and education programs that you can do. Look into studies, a lot of them will hire nurses to help with study participants for medical research. There is drug reps. You can work for drug companies if you want to help, not just drug companies, but drug and device companies working as a rep. That's a big avenue for a lot of people who want to leave the bedside. They do require some experience, and you'll learn that there's definitely some training, things that you have to go through. And, you've got to be a salesperson. So it's, personality. If your personality is not wanting to interact with people all the time and, be in there pushing to have discussions and be ready to do those kind of things, it might not be for you. But if you have a really vivacious personality and you're good at talking to people and you can strike conversation up with anybody, go do it. It can work out great for you. I know people make a lot of money doing it, and that can be great. I watched a documentary the other day. I don't know if you've seen it. I believe it's on Netflix. It's called Joy. It's about Jean Purdy and her contributions to IVF. And if you haven't watched it, you're a woman in nursing. Even if you're not a woman in nursing, I would encourage you to watch it. What a fabulous, fabulous documentary, and what that woman went through to be such a contributor in our field just amazed me. And it still amazes me to this day how so many women contributed to science, contributed to the overall movement of something or changing the needle in our environment, and how hard it has been for them to get the recognition they deserve for their contributions. So that's another avenue, is research. But if you have not watched the movie Joy, I would encourage you to watch it. It was something that it just felt very profound to me, and I enjoyed it a lot. There's also military stuff, and there is private sector versus public sector conversations that we probably need to get into in one of my next videos. There is a huge, huge, huge opportunity in public sector. Given the things that are going on right now with OPM and our state of affairs, I don't know where the hell things are going, but I would say, keep an eye on the things in public sector. There is a lot of opportunity there, and I hope that helps. I know this is a short 15-minute video. I hope you enjoyed it. We'll get more into it on my next video, and I'll see you on the flip side.